Yeah, I'm here.
All right, we're live. All right, so welcome to a brand new Unsourced Wall Radio. We'll be talking today about Black Adam, its release, our thoughts on it, and the future of the DCEU. A big shakeup this week. Lots of news, lots of stuff going on. But primarily, let's just start on introducing you guys. Ro, introduce yourself.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Roliver Queen. Glad to be here. Glad to talk about Black Adam and the future of the DCEU because there's a lot to dissect.
What
Ooh.
about you, CJ?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to dissect. Probably way more than normal for something like this. I'm kind of like in the category of curious to see, yeah, what's gonna come of this? Because, yeah, it's.
All right. But Black Adam, the movie that was 5 years in the making. Don't let the Rock's lies fool you. The movie should have been called Black Adam, or how the Rock got everyone to talk about things outside of the quality of the movie. How the Rock tricked the nation. All right, into watching his movie.
Damn.
All right.
That's a trick the nation. Holy
He,
crap!
he fooled everyone. All right, like when you hear Black Adam, you don't think Black Adam. You think, oh, that Henry Cavill Superman movie. He pulled the wool over everyone's eyes with this film. All right, um, but yeah, let's just go ahead. Like no spoilers. I mean, I actually what I meant to say was the opposite. Spoilers galore. All right, but what do you guys think about it, Ro? I know that you liked it, didn't you? You've been
yeah, so I gave Black Adam a 6 out of 10. I think the strongest points of the movie was, just the acting, how the characters were portrayed. But I think that's literally it. I feel like the story was something we've seen time and time again. It felt very recycled. I mentioned it to Elvis before we recorded, but I think the biggest gripe I had with it was the JSA, because it seems like it was very mixed messaging with the JSA. The JSA is supposed to be a prestige team with a lot of history, but um, the JSA is supposed to be heroes, but how are you heroes when you're working for Amanda Waller and you cannot associate anything good with Amanda Waller? So that was very, very confusing to me. But other than that, it was a decent popcorn flick. Um, and yeah, that's literally it. The Cavill cameo did nothing for me. I like Cavill, no disrespect to Cavill, but I don't have that same attachment as everybody else does. And I'm here for Black Adam. So when I keep hearing about a cameo instead of the quality of a movie, I'm already going into this shit with not so high hopes. And no, lo and behold, I was right. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Black Adam. Initial thoughts.
all right. What about you, CJ? What were your like initial overall thoughts on how this turned out?
My initial overall thoughts. I came out of the movie just like, oh, wasn't as bad as I thought it was, but it definitely also felt a lot to be desired. Normally when we get these type of movies, to Roliver's point, like the whole thing about everybody hyping up the Henry Cavill thing, like a lot of people were saying, well, Marvel does it. And I'm like, no, the difference is like it's the people that feed into the rumors that hype up
Mm-hmm.
the post-credit scenes of a movie before it comes out versus the actual company. Like you don't never hear anybody that directed the movie or any of the people talking about, hey, watch Eternals for the post-credit sequence, because nobody, no, they were hyping up the movie itself. And when I saw The Rock hyping up, and even at San Diego, he was hyping up, hey, Black Adam versus Superman. I'm like, but what about the movie? Like,
What about the
Yes.
quality of the
what's
story?
the movie? It because in you saw it everybody on Superman. I thought visually as a team, JSA looked pretty good, but also the aspect of them even being in contact with Amanda Waller was like, well, that's kind of strange.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it kind of sucks because the JSA, they looked pretty good and I like their dynamics. But somebody was mentioning how they were in the theater and somebody was like, hey, so how come the Justice League is here instead of the JSA? And I was like, and there it is right there.
Mm.
And I felt bad because it's like, yeah, man, like that's a big problem. Like I should be hyped for JSA, but and it's not to say I needed a JSA movie before that, but like it really showed that the company is in such disarray.
Yeah.
That you have people asking about the Justice League versus the JSA and why they're not there. Because at least on the Marvel side with the Avengers, you're like, well, the Avengers disbanded after Endgame, so there's your excuse, But like the Justice League technically didn't disband. As far as we know, they're still technically together. I mean, we saw them in Peacemaker. So there you go.
Exactly.
So I mean, but like I said, at the end of the day, it was like, it was a fun movie. I wasn't over the moon with it, but I wasn't pissed off at it. Like, but this movie is shit. It was just like, it's serviceable, but it wasn't worth the hype that everybody made it out to be.
But don't you understand? I think you have too high expectations, CJ. You don't understand that this is a movie that's made just for the action. If you're paying attention to anything else, you were watching the movie wrong. All right, the movie succeeded at what it wanted to do. Just fun. Munch your popcorn, turn your brain off time. All right, I don't think you understood what The Rock was going for. All right, he was doing it for the fans. Fans that love action. It's action. Cavill, Superman, DCEU, Snyder. You got to understand his genius. All right, you don't understand his genius. But no, I totally agree with most of what you guys are saying. I think out of the three of us, I hated this the most. I outright hated it. Honestly, there are things I appreciate in it. But overall, it was probably one of the most soul-sucking comic movies I've seen in a long time.
Oh, damn!
Like I've been, because like this, I think it was more so like the perception and lead up that really kind of like made this such an aggravatingly, like just depressing watch, because you have all these people talking about, like you said, everything else other than the movie itself, other than the quality. Mm-hmm. Like, oh yeah, no, we have. Oh, the Rock brings together all these elements of the DCU into one film. He's creating a combined universe with Black Adam. He brought back, Superman, Henry Cavill. Yes. He's doing it all for the fans. And like, okay, well, the story. And the thing is that this has no story. So it's just a meandering, ridiculous mess that only exists to prop up the idea of a cinematic universe and to also, make The Rock the center of it. And and to hear all the people saying like, "Oh yes, this is exactly what DCU needed. This is what the fans want. This is the bright future of this franchise." I'm like, if this is the future, then all you're telling me is that DC is never going to make a good movie ever again. Like if this was the standard, like for every DC movie going forward, just like big fan servicey blobs, I would like, who cares? Throw it all away. I perfect time to jump off the comic book movie train. I don't need to see any more of these. That's what we felt like, because let me talk about something that I like. All right, I like the 4 scenes they remembered it was a Black Adam movie. I like the intro. Yes, of course, you have the kid narrating everything. But I like it. I think it brought a lot of those kind of aspects of the characters' mythology to light. Like it felt like, okay, there's a good attention to detail. I can see what comics and what points in the characters' runs that this is pulling from. This overall, if I had to say anything, I understand now that The Rock is a fan of Black Adam. I think he's more a fan of himself, unfortunately. All right, because like, okay, yes. I understand where all this is coming from. You gotta know the character to pull this off for the prologue, and then after that, it just goes downhill. Because the only other parts that the movie remembers are when it's like just expositioning about Black Adam's past or another flashback, and it's that's only like 4 quick moments. Prologue, when the JSA arrives, and Adriana Tomaz is like, telling her about like, oh, we built a statue to you, which is a really great line, like. You destroyed Kondak, but now you have a statue made out of you, and like that's a great line, because like, oh wow, it would be so impactful. Like who Black Adam is, like his rampage was whitewashed by history. Is he like a hero, a villain? How does he contend with that emotionally, psychologically? Doesn't matter. Never brought up again. It's just a cool line, but that line should have been the core of the movie. But other than that, it's just like the moment the JSA shows up and the moment it starts to just care about fight between them and JSA, and like, heroes don't kill. Hawkman has killed so many people in the comics, it's ridiculous. But yeah, like I want to go back to what Ro was saying about the whole government thing. Is that that could have worked? Like I don't want to be a purist, Like, okay, so like they're a black ops kind of mercenary group working for Wall or working for the U.S. government, and they bring up like this parallel between U.S. interventionism and imperialism, all that kind of stuff. The stuff that like Team America World Police is making fun of back in the day. But don't do anything with it. Because, like you said, mixed messages. Like, okay, we want to comment on this, but we don't want them to be too bad. We can't have them actually be villains, So we gotta keep everything like this flat note. And at the end of the day, like, I'm more disappointed that there were parts that felt like someone on the team knew what they were doing. If this was just entirely bad, it would be so easy to ignore. But the potential there is like nagging at me, like what could have been.
No, I don't see anywhere where that could have worked for me. I don't, because it's just such a blatant like contradiction. Like that's the part that bothers me so much.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm in the contradiction. I'm talking about like, but even bringing it up in the first place could have been something interesting if they didn't contradict themselves.
Especially,
I got you saying. I got you saying.
Especially, I mean, especially when you have a JSA that's in Stargirl.
Exactly. Like characters can work. And what was so egregious to me is that like the movie even lacked like the sense, the common sense to pick up like the most easiest gimmies. Like you have a team where like of course two of them are newbies, but like you have Hawkman and Dr. Fate, and you have Black Adam, and this is something the comics have done multiple times, where like all these three all knew each other because they're all kind of sort of immortal, and they all lived in like ancient Egyptian times together. So there's been multiple times where that's been brought up, where they knew each other, and you could have tied in the JSA so well, right into the story to where it fit, to where you could comment on like Black Adam's character. We had Hawkman and Dr. Fate going like, oh wow, man, we knew him back in the past. He was the hero, but he fell in darkness. So now we're gonna discuss like, oh, Black Adam, this isn't you. We used to know you back when you were a hero. You've changed, that kind of thing. Have a story that called out to his character, that talked about it, that developed it. And the movie doesn't do that. They don't know each other. And Dr. Fate is meant to be like an alien, like for some reason, Cyclone's like, oh, his helmet came from another planet. Like, what do you mean?
I mean, I like the ambitiousness of Cyclone and what's his face?
Atom Smasher.
Atom Smasher. I like them being kind of like the young members against the old members and stuff, and they didn't really play it up on the old versus young, which I was fine with because that's pretty stereotypical and stuff. I would say I even said in our review, like seeing the JSA had me kind of like, hey, I actually wouldn't mind seeing a JSA movie, but at the same time, seeing Dr. Fate, I'm like, all right, I like Pierce Brosnan. He brings the good, sensibilities to Dr. Fate. It's just you kind of wanted to see more of Dr. Fate doing more stuff. And it's like, I mean, we're spoiling this, right?
Oh, you're spoiling.
Yeah,
yeah. All right. So there's a moment where Dr. Fate dies, and I'm like, so who's gonna take over as Dr. Fate now? Like, like are we gonna address that?
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that, please?
Let me say one thing before you say it, please. Like, okay. I blinked and I missed it. I'm like, who cares? Because Dr. Fate wasn't a character; he was an accent.
All right. So, bro, what the fuck? I'm sorry. What the fuck? What the fuck was that? Why? I don't understand. Like, is this supposed to make me miss him? Like, I mean, first of all, you guys just botched the entire JSA thing. I thought he did a good job, but still, like, killing him off and then The Rock teasing he'll be back. What was the point? What was? I don't get it.
There's no point to any of this movie, man. Like, it brings up stuff like colonialism. It brings up stuff like nationalism. But are these themes in the movie? No, they just bring them up because like, oh, we gotta say it, or else people will be mad online. Like this is like the actual definition of like virtue signaling. Like, oh, we'll bring it up because it's like we have like this whole Middle East kind of parallel because Kondak is an real nation. We gotta bring it up because otherwise people will be like, oh, we're whitewashing the Middle East. We gotta bring it up, but we're not gonna give a shit about it.
But you have to go balls in with that because it's the idea of, hey, where were you at when they came through? And I'm like, and that again, that brings up the question of, well, how come Justice League didn't do that? And it's just
like I wouldn't mind any of that if we got an idea about why anyone care about Black Adam. Like we get the one scene where like he fights the JSA, but then like Adrian Thomas like, see, the people need a hero. Everyone loves him. It's like a group of like 5 people in the crowd. I'm like, no, here's what you should have done. And again, this is a very simple thing, right? Show him helping out Kandak. Like the entire movie was like, I'm no hero. But like that's a total 180 because okay, so I feel like they made a big mistake by like kind of again cut out the JSA entirely. Like I already said how they could have been tied in. So I'm not gonna say like, oh, I hate JSA. They never should have been in the movie. They could have made them work, but if you cut out the JSA entirely and focused only on Black Adam and the Intergang as like these military Black Ops people, you have a really great, rich story there because you have him fighting for the people. You have like you could have something that has a lot of themes and depth. Maybe you're not like exploring those themes. I'm not gonna say like, oh, it's not a superhero movie. It's a political thriller. I'm not gonna say something like that. But like you have something where like you have these people who are downtrodden, oppressed by outside forces using like these Black Ops military kind of like wetworks companies, like Blackwater, all that kind of shit. And like, you see him like making it an impressionable difference on people's lives. In this movie is like half the fight scenes are against Hawkman. Like why would the public care?
Yeah. I mean, and the thing of it is, it's like the fact that look, I don't expect Intergang to have some be deep and meaningful, but like the fact that Intergang kind of just resulted in just being regular terrorist people instead of them being like, I had a thought in my head, like if you wanted to make a good Batman v Superman, you kind of play it up like the animated series and splicing in some World's Finest and have like Intergang be working for Lex Luthor or some shit, and that's your bad guys and you put in Metallo and stuff. But Intergang in this movie, it's like, oh, they're just people for Black Adam and JSA just to punch and that's it. There's no like face of Intergang.
Yeah, the thing, right? Like, oh my, I you know what? I'm gonna say it. The whole like this terrorist group has access to magical guns, and like, and their leader is the reincarnation of Kondak's old dictator, like which like he's like the literal reincarnation. It's the same actor, I think, right? The same actor.
I think so.
And it's like that's interesting. That's an interesting villain. Like it's an interesting base. Like it's about how like you could tie in some, again, half-hearted theme about like, recursive kind of like oppression. Like you always, becoming your own oppressors, that kind of thing. Like he even mentioned like they don't want to be free. They want to be ruled. They want to be led. He has like one line like that, I think. And like, oh, that could have been fun. But no, we had to spend 70% of the movie going, heroes don't kill. What do you mean? You work for the U.S. government as soldiers. You're mercenaries. You're telling me that Dr. Fate has never taken a life?
You know what I like about your initial idea about the JSA not being in this movie?
Yes.
I think it could have worked. And you know what? Instead of them even throwing Cavill into the mix, bro, how about you tease the JSA at the end of the movie?
No, that makes more sense. That's what happens in the comics. Again, I don't want to be a purist, but this is something that happens in the comics. In the comics, right, in the JSA arc, Black Reign, the JSA gets heads up that Black Adam has taken over Kondak. So all that already happened off screen, and then they're pulled into the situation because he's already taken over. So like the Black Adam movie should have been like him taking over. And then at the end, like, oh man, now it's on Waller's radar because like maybe she was funding Intergang, like she was like, oh man, because that would have been like a really great critique of like American interventionism, how we're like kind of setting up our own coups and like our own public dictators in like South American countries and all that shit, CIA kind of stuff, But no, instead she's like, oh man, we heard that a tank got blown up. We gotta send a JSA in immediately. But why? A tank got blown up. Oh no, it's a world stage stuff now.
Yeah,
it's very very easy things they could have done here. Because I'll be honest with you, I think the JSA has enough allure and respect, even among casual fans, to the point where, excuse me, if you tease that at the end of a movie, and you really do your due diligence while crafting the next movie, I think you really could have grabbed people there. And then with the first movie, it's about, hey, Black Adam really just kind of like, paying his dues, showing what it's like to help out the people of Canada, go against the inner gang. You could have had something solid there, but the problem is that we do have that, but there's so much unnecessary fluff in the middle of it, so that it doesn't really matter at the end. I'll be honest with you, the JSA, as much as I like their portrayal here, it's fluff. It's fluff.
It's there to serve the purpose, because really at the end of the day, I felt that JSA being in the movie kind of hid the fact that they had a weak villain from jump.
But come on, Sonic is not a weak villain. He could have been interesting.
He could have. Look, here's the thing.
They made the villain weak by sidelining him.
That's what I'm saying. It felt like they put the JSA to show, because the thing is, he could have been better, but it's like
they didn't want to put the effort in because they had the JSA. I understand what you're saying. Like, if they were the weak villain entirely, but no, I feel like it's the opposite. Like, they shoved in the JSA, made that weak, because they also made all the other stuff weak. It made his relationship with Adriana weak, because I only gets like 2 scenes. It made his relationship with Amon weak. It only has like 2 scenes. I don't think he's in any scene with the uncle after he leaves the apartment. Like, after the first 15 minutes, they don't share any scenes after that, I don't think. So all of that is like pushed to the sideline, because we got introduced to JSA, we got introduced Cyclone, we got introduced Atom Smasher, we got give all their backstories. We got to have them there. We got to show them flying. We got to show them community quality. We got to show them capturing Black Adam. We got to show like the one fight. You got to show the second fight. We got to show the third fight where they win. We got all this, and you didn't need it. You didn't need it.
Nah.
I'm gonna be honest with you, like, if I wasn't having this conversation with you guys right now, I would have. So let me get this straight. The villain that was in the movie, this is someone from the comics that okay, all right. Because me watching this with the bare knowledge that I know, this is just your run of the mill villain to me, bro.
Well, he's not a great villain, but I think the way they set it up in the movie, which is totally original to the movie, it is really interesting. Like, again, I feel like it felt like you could have said something, and like, okay, it's like his second chance as well, like, because it's the reincarnation. So like, if he killed, maybe he doesn't kill him, maybe he doesn't kill him because he killed him the first time, and I led to like all this kind of trouble. And that's what let's go back. Let's go into him killing the first time, because this movie it kind of retcons Shazam a bit.
How does it? I don't think it retcons it.
Doesn't it?
In what way? Because it feels like everything with it does kind of line up with Shazam told Billy in his movie.
What the Wizard told Billy is that Black Adam went rogue and unleashed the 7 sins, which lay ruin to Kahndaq, and they had to stop him, right? And then in the deleted scene, we see like him like kind of like running after imprisoning Shazam, after imprisoning Black Adam, and it gets implied that all of his siblings are dead. Of course, the lead scene, but a lot of the fans of this movie like to bring up the lead scene Shazam to like say, "Oh, look, they're all connected." So I'm bringing up the lead scene, even though I wouldn't necessarily count it either way, but I'm gonna bring it up where it's like it's after his battle. It's implied that Black Adam killed all the other wizards, and then he's recaptured the 7 sins, and then that's where like that's the lead scene. But here it's like, oh no, Black Adam killed one guy, and they're like, "You went too far," and that's all we say. That's all we hear.
I have a question.
So it kind of retcons Shazam. It retcons Shazam a bit, and like I hate that. Yeah,
I have a very jarring question. Yo, is it very possible that The Rock does not give a shit about what's happening in Shazam?
He
and
does
all
not.
His main focus is
he does not.
Oh no,
Superman versus Black Adam.
I said that during. I had some people push back on that, and I was like, look, I get it, but here's the thing. When you make that the focal point at San Diego, pushing Superman wanting to face off against Black Adam, I get it. Cavill's under the same, y'all both got the same agent, so that's how you were able to get him. When Shazam is doing a lot of the footwork that could possibly build towards Shazam and Black Adam facing off, and you're more focused on Superman versus Black Adam, I have a problem with that. And it's weird to me even more that folks are eating that up. And I'm like, but bruh, Shazam is right there. It's right there. Like,
You know,
So this is like, hold on, Elvis, hold on.
Okay.
So this is why I bring up that question, right? Because again, I'm gonna bring something up that The Rock brought up. Not too well, he's brought up multiple times.
Twice.
Oh,
I
this
think.
is phase one of the new DCEU, bro. If this is the brand new phase, the smart thing for you to do to make this feel connected, but try to tie this into Shazam or even mention Shazam as much as you can. I'm talking during the press run and even during the movie. Like try to link it up together. Because for me, if I'm watching the movie and I didn't, if I watch Shazam and then I see everything that's happening with Black Adam, I'm just like, I would think these are like two different entities. I know there's history there between Shazam and Black Adam, but if I'm going based off of what The Rock has been doing or what the movie has shown me, I'm like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no connectivity there. I wouldn't put two and two together because of how different everything is. Shazam is doing its own thing. I know Shazam is great. Shazam set things up properly, but I'm looking at what's happening at Black Adam and The Rock. I'm like, I wouldn't think to put two and two together. That's more of the fans or AKA the purist job to do. And it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
But I heard the funniest defense of this from like Black Adam fans. And this is one who's like sort of a leaker, or who are like friends with a leaker, or scooper, or whatever we're gonna call themselves, leadership. But they were like, "Oh man, Black Adam isn't even out yet, and all these fanboys are kind of roasting it." But let me tell you, I heard from my friend who saw a pre-screening that they say Shazam 5 times. They're tying it in. Don't worry, it's not ignoring Shazam. And I wanted to mention it, but I was gonna like quote tweet them when they posted that. It was like 2 weeks ago, but the movie wasn't out yet. But like I didn't want like to speak out of turn. Maybe they bring up Shazam a lot, Like maybe they do. Like maybe the times this person is talking about are like real solid references. I don't want to speak out of turn, but what I wanted to say was that you're saying they say the word Shazam 5 times in a movie when the main character, his transforming word is the word Shazam. And so here we go. We got once when he transforms. We got once when he transforms back. We got once when he transforms again. That's 3 times already. Then we have once when they presumably say the wizard's name, and then we have one more time when someone says you should probably get him to say the word Shazam. That's 5 times. I wanted to quote tweet it. I wanted to say like these are the 5 times, and none of them had anything to do with Shazam or tying it into Shazam at all. And guess what? I didn't do it, but it was completely fucking on the money. All right. The word Shazam is not connecting. It's just what the character has. It's not even bare minimum. It's nothing.
And that's even with respect to the fact that the suit that he gets at the end matches what Shazam had in his movie, and it's like, all right, that's something, but we're gonna get more, or are y'all still gonna be teasing this Black Adam versus there, and then Amanda Waller saying, "Hey, you need to stay in your country," and I'm like, what makes you think that guy is gonna stay in that country?
Hell no.
What makes you think that's gonna be a thing? Like, come on, like, who are you kidding?
And the thing, like, it wouldn't not the whole thing makes zero sense because, that threat makes no sense as well because, like, in a proper Black Adam movie, why would he care about anywhere else other than Kahndaq?
Yeah, I mean, unless he feels like venturing outside in the world for whatever reason, okay, fine. But like
is he going to take over the world? That's not his ambition. Like, again, if in a properly set up kind of movie that actually focuses on Black Adam as a character, like his entire focus would be kind of Black Adam is like Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom doesn't care about any other place other than Latveria, Like the thing, like you get no sense of that. You get the sense like, oh, people want Black Adam to care. The citizens of Kahndaq have legends of Black Adam, but Black Adam kind of just doesn't give a shit, and we never get the sense that he gives a shit. So none of this matters. Not even the character's core ends up mattering.
No. I mean, and again, I kind of want to go back to this thing of just like mixed messaging. Like, I guess one good thing about the movie is just like, cool. Like, we established that, Black Adam is ruling, Kahndaq. That's great. But for me, this is where mixed messaging comes in because, like, you're making him seem, I don't know. It's just like we know he's not a hero, but this movie portrays him as a hero. But at the same time, it did the job of establishing him in Kandak. So technically speaking, that's his turf. So somebody else coming through, would be looked at, disrespectful or whatever have you. But again, it's again, the whole thing is just weird to me. And again, even Amanda Waller just saying that is like, hey, you stepping out, just like, what's the need? Why would you need to, like, bro? He's liberating the folk. What's the point of you saying that? What's the at this point?
Also, I kind of didn't pick up on the fact that the chick that when they took Black Adam to the prison, that the chick they were talking to was the chick from Peacemaker. At first I was like, okay, because some people in the theater were clapping a little bit. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then I was like, the face looks familiar. And then it wasn't until I got back, somebody was like, oh, that's the chick from Peacemaker. And I was like, oh shit, that's right. Granted, I love Peacemaker. It's just I totally fucking forgot like that chick was in the show. And I was like, oh shit, that's right. And
can I change my review? Can I change my point grading for Black Adam?
No problem.
Because she was in the movie, that's a 6.5 because that is elite milk. Milk.
You got me. I thought you were gonna do the sensible thing, but apparently not.
Elite milk.
But
seeing her on the screen. Mwah.
But one thing that I really kind of want to bring up is that I found it so hilarious, that we get this entire other plot only briefly hinted at in like 2 seconds. Okay, so we have like the main kind of like leader of Intergang, like the reincarnation of the dictator of Kahndaq.
Mm-hmm.
And then like his entire plan is to be sent to like a hell dimension with a bizarro rock of eternity, right? Full of like demon wizards. They're all words I'm using. The movie doesn't explain jack shit. And then they say something like, oh, finally, we have a champion. And I'm like, wait, you're waiting for a champion? Wait, what was your plan? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, who are you? What are your motivations? Why do you need a champion? What? And then no, it doesn't matter. That's it. We never mentioned again. Finally, we have a champion. Like, who? Why are you waiting? What is your purpose? Did the original Sabak know this?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? And like I said, all of this would have been kind of fun, maybe a little interesting. A bizarro Rock of Eternity. Oh my god, that could be fun. Who gives a fuck? We gotta have more JSA, and we gotta have more Amanda Waller in here.
Let's call this what it is.
Terrible.
Let's call this what it is. Right? I said it before we recorded. I don't think CJ was here for it. Black Adam is a movie where they just take the bare bones of these characters' histories and slap them together for an hour and however many minutes movie, and it's digestible for people who don't know better. And just so it could be another popcorn flick. That's all this is. And also, I'm going to circle back to the whole Cavill thing. Black Adam, if you're not paying attention, and the whole press tour for it, it also highlights, again, one of the bigger issues that's going on at DC. Because, again, if this is supposed to be phase one, everything's supposed to be connected together, connect to that fucking Shazam movie. Fuck Cavill. Fuck Cavill. Sorry. Fuck Cavill. That's what you want. You want to get me. I'm a continuity buff. I love continuity. That's how you get somebody like me invested. That's how you got the MCU folk invested into MCU for so long, is because they could see the connected threads. Because say what we want about the MCU, they trying. They trying. You can see the pieces coming together. When you watch this one movie, you can see, oh, they doing the plot threads here, and you know there's going to be some payoff. Man, what the fuck is going on with this?
And even then, even without that, right? The MCU, and I hate like 70% MCU. 70% of you, I could go out of existence, and I wouldn't blink an eye. But one of the reasons people like those movies so much is because they, on some level, connect to a
Yes.
character or two. Like everyone loves Wong in Doctor Strange 1. There's no Wong in this, man. There's no one in this.
I think
Like,
you know what it is. So I remember way back when BVS got announced, I sat back and I was like, why can't we just get a Man of Steel 2? Why are we pushing so much of trying to get Justice League and everything in BVS? Like that movie did so much heavy lifting that it turned into a mess of a movie. And all I got from folks was, nah, man, it don't have to be like Marvel. I'm like, cool. If DC was smart, they would have started off with Justice League as the first movie instead of Man of Steel.
and that was the plan. That was the original plan back in 2000.
Yeah, was it George Reeves? Yeah, George Reeves was supposed to do it, and that would
George Miller.
Yeah, George, and you know what? That actually would have put Marvel on Marvel Studios on their heels.
Yeah, because like you get one big movie and then you spin off all these things from it. You make a big splash and you get people excited. This is like trying to do that, but way worse because everything is so undercooked.
And they're also trying to run. They're doing this thing where they're trying to have the cake and eat too. They're running away from what Snyder did all the way leading to Justice League. And then they did this weird thing where they said, okay, everything doesn't have to be connected, but then you make these movies by themselves and everybody says, oh, I love the fact that they're standalone. They don't have to be connected.
Oh my, I love
and
that.
But then turn around and it's like, oh, but we want connectivity. But I'm like, but y'all just say you were happy with no connectivity. But
low connectivity, like that's what I think works the most about the Venomverse. You know, the people are like, oh no, the Venomverse, no bad.
I don't have to like it, but it's like, fuck. At least there's a connectivity there. Like,
there's connectivity, but it's not something that gets in the way. You know, like okay, you have Morbius say like, I'm Venom. That's a funny line because people say that shit all the time. People say that shit about Batman as well. Like, oh, I'm Batman. That's a common sense joke. And Venom 2, like of course, has that post-credit scene to No Way Home, but it doesn't impact the story. You know, and it's still a very strict sequel to the first Venom. And you can see where they're building up, you know, but it's not getting in the way of you enjoying these films or these films impeding on each other. But this movie, Black Adam, its only purpose to be like, oh, and then you need to watch this one to understand the rest. Like it's purposely built to be that way. Like let's do a DCEU, a watch order, watch list. Okay, first you watch Man of Steel, then you watch Justice League, the BVS, but then you need to watch Black Adam. You can't miss Black Adam, and that's its only purpose. And I'm right.
I mean, if they look, I said it best. If Black Adam had came out during Marvel Phase 1, it probably would have went over way better during that period of time compared to now.
Probably.
I think I agree with AJ because again, when you really think about it, Black Adam is literally just those it's the Marvel Phase 1 movies repackaged. That's essentially what it is. It's like that's why I said I've seen this movie plenty of times. Like the bare bones of this movie, like the crutch of this movie, I've seen that plenty of times.
I feel like you have to be too generous, though.
I mean, it's one of those things where I'm not being generous. It's just I'm being honest because I didn't fucking hate the movie. Like compared to how I felt about Venom, like I really fucking hated Venom compared.
How dare you? How dare
like
you?
I like put it this way. I felt the sequel was better.
How dare you? Well, sequel was way worse.
Because the first movie was just like, so you just wasted all those symbiotes. Like, wow. Like,
who cares? Who cares? It's called Venom, it's not called Shriek.
I know, but but still, it's just, I legit came out of it like, it was fine. I'm like, I don't get the hype.
No, but
because it's just, you just got Shazam, which was a surprise hit.
Yes.
Like, that's the thing. And it's like,
still tracking more. It's still tracking better. The Black Adam fan page was like, oh, look, it's projected to make 30 million next weekend, only a 55% drop, 53% drop, right? Oh, 55%. And then like in the same post, it's like comparison, Shazam, made 20 million, but that's a 53% drop. So it dropped smaller than Black Adam is going to be dropping by projections. And I think it's projected to be way higher than that. They're saying 55%. I'm praying 60s. Come on, drop 60%. Like, let's get into BVS territory here. All right. I need to see. I'm manifesting a historic drop. All right. What's the word of mouth on this? Are people saying,
Black Adam?
You got to rush on and see Black Adam, man. It's so good.
I mean, let's be real. Like The Rock was look, Rotten Tomatoes is already a jank system anyway.
Yeah.
The system itself is weird because you have this is how I want people to understand the system of Rotten Tomatoes. You'll get a critic that will sit there and give a movie, say a B+ grade, like say a 3.5 out of 5, right? Rotten Tomatoes, for some reason, depending on the verbiage of that 3.5 out of 5 review, will deem it a rotten score, even though it's 3.5 out of 5.
Mm.
And it fucks up the scoring system. I'm like, but that's a positive review. Like, why is that a rotten? It doesn't make any sense. Like, even a C, I wouldn't even classify it as rotten. Like,
No.
so so the whole system itself is already skewed as is. It's already skewed. So if you want to go with audience scores, that's fine. I get the Rock talent audience scores, but like everybody's saying, oh, it made 140 million. Yeah, worldwide, but that shit's gonna tank, especially with Wakanda Forever coming around the corner. I'm like,
And also, it's Halloween weekend. You know, you think people are gonna like been like, oh man, I can't believe it's the night before Halloween. You know, we should watch action comedy superhero movie. No.
They're gonna want to drink.
I mean, because like I forgot what comes out this weekend. I mean, maybe it'll stay for #1 this weekend, possibly. I wouldn't be shocked.
But just go back to your point. I'll let you finish, but I need to like go back to the point I was going to go before I got sidetracked. You finish. You were going to say something?
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, you know, I wonder what the drop was for, you know, some of The Rock's other biggest movies. I think, what is it? The last.
Jungle Cruise, same director.
Jungle Cruise, I think did that. I thought that hit Disney before. No, it did Disney Plus, the thing you had to pay for it for like a month, and then I think Jungle Cruise it did. Let's see, Jungle Cruise did 220 million worldwide, 116 million domestic. That's actually pretty good.
Okay. I think
it might hit 100 million domestic, possibly.
Yeah, I think overall we'll see, because then again, it's The Rock and it's a superhero movie. Apparently,
they said this is high as opening weekend movie for The Rock. Period. Which I'm like, oh, interesting.
We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, Elvis. Because I know you want to say something, so move on.
Yeah, you guys are talking all about like compared to MCU, but I always felt the best comparison is to Amazing Spider-Man 2. All right.
Yes.
Okay, because that's a movie like Black Adam that is so focused on references and setting up spin-offs and other films and a universe that the story, which is a very simple story that could have been very effective, very emotionally engaging, gets lost in a shovel. Like at the end of the movie,
because they got too ambitious for their own good.
Yes. And like at the end of the movie, do you even care that Emma Stone died? No, you're still thinking about why the hell was there
you know what it is? You expected her death. It was just a case of how.
Yes. And they decided to do it in the most ridiculous way possible. Because Harry Osborn is like takes a goblin juice, becomes a goblin
ham-fisted.
In a room where he's surrounded by Dr. Octopus's tentacles, the rhino suit, the vulture's wings. And I made a tweet about this, and I'm like, if Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out today, all Mark Webb would have to say is that we put those Easter eggs in for the fans, and the people would just eat it up. Like thank you so much, Avi Arad, for teasing the rhino. You did it for the fans.
Well, they remember back then when that movie came out, I remember like that was the big thing. Everybody was folks were really trying to give themselves peace of mind, like this was going to lead to something, because you remember this was supposed to lead to the Sinister Six solo movie, even though we didn't know what the fuck that movie was going to be about.
Now we know. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, and so it's like, all right, cool, I guess. Like,
but like no, like that's the thing. Like the Black Adam does the exact same shit, except it gets a pass because The Rock is so good at like.
Well, he brought back Henry Cavill. That's
kind of weaponizing this rhetoric. Like, oh, I did it for the fans. I totally didn't do it for my own ego or to like boost up this movie's kind of like, gimmick as a gimmick. No, I did it for the fans. It's for the fans, of course. Audience first,
He did it for The Rock.
Yeah, he did it for The Rock. He did it to make this movie have something noteworthy. Like, oh, this is the movie that brought Henry Cavill back. In your watch orders, you can't miss it. Henry Cavill returns. Like, that's it. This movie only exists to hold a place in a DCEU and nothing else.
I gotta be honest with you. I said it best. The future of the DCEU, it's still up in the air. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to jump ahead here. Like James Gunn got announced, and look, I'm happy for him and Peter. What's his face? I'm happy. Safran. Peter Safran. I'm happy for him because Peter Safran is the guy that set up the Conjuring universe, and those movies killed like gangbusters. So I get where they're coming from. And James Gunn is the guy that gave you Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, critically acclaimed projects that critics loved and stuff. So it's like, all right, cool. What does that mean in regards to the behind the scenes stuff from the higher ups trying to sell WB? Like, is that going to shake it up? Is there going to be some consistency? Because for me with WB, it was always, can we get some consistency to where these projects can actually happen instead of just telling us we're getting it and then it doesn't happen?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like after you cancel Batgirl, I think that's what made people kind of like, okay, so like what's happening here? Are we, I just found out Doom Patrol has a 4th season. I didn't know that.
But they're splitting up to 2 seasons, two parts. So it's season 4 part 1 and season 4 part 2.
I thought it was just a whole season 4. I didn't know they were doing parts.
Yeah, because I that's the only time they're doing it. But there was this rumor saying that they're kind of waiting on the ratings to see. So I'm thinking, and this is the rumor of BoJack Horseman as well, where they're kind of waiting to see the reception, of like part 1. To see what they'll maybe they have like an ending like filmed and ready to go if the first season doesn't do like a lot of numbers. Okay, we'll just put the finale episode into the second part of season 4. We're gonna cancel it, but it's gonna have an ending. That's weird to me. Like why they would do that for the first time, Because it's not a prestige show. People won't be like, "Oh man, I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for season 4 part 2." It's not Stranger Things,
Yeah, it's
obviously a thing where they're waiting to see the ratings.
I think at this point, I just want to see like, can we actually get a structured universe? Like who's going to be the Batman guy? Who's going to be Superman? Is Superman actually going to get a movie? Like I don't care for him to be having bit roles in other people's movies. I want him to have his actual movie. And yeah,
that's my. I don't know. Well, Elvis, are we?
We can move forward.
Talk about the James Gunn stuff? Or?
Yeah, like unless you guys have anything else to say about
Black Adam. No. Trust me, we'll be talking in circles.
There's not much to talk about this movie anyway.
So I was gonna say, all this recent news that we got, it does nothing for me, and this is one of the reasons why I don't cover a lot of this shit on my own channel, because for me it means absolutely nothing. James Gunn and this other homeboy being the new heads of it only means something if Upstairs has their shit together, and it doesn't look like Upstairs has their shit together. So what does that mean? All this is just, it's more, hey, pats on the back, hey, pats on the back. But if I don't see cohesion, if I don't see what actually a universe is going to look like in the next couple of years, what does this mean? Is you got somebody upstairs who's penny pitching like a motherfucker, and we're asking projects up the right. We just got the news about the Green Lantern shit. So what does this do for me? Yes, salute to James Gunn. Yeah, he's been busting his ass over at DC, but what does this do? So for me, all of this falls flat because it's noise. This is until I see something substantial happening, and until I see like legitimate structuring upstairs from the higher ups, I don't know what to take of this news. Happy for everybody because it looks like everybody's gonna be getting a pay bump. Happy for James Gunn because it looks like he's gonna be getting more power in his hands. But what does that mean if Upstairs does not have its shit together? What does Cavill coming back mean if Upstairs doesn't have their shit together? That's my stance on everything.
That's totally right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's because even the Green Lantern news, I feel bad for Berlanti because it's like you were making a kind of anthology Green Lantern series, which I thought was pretty dope. And now it's relegated to Jon Stewart having a TV show, which Jon Stewart getting a Green Lantern TV show, that's great. But like, I was liking them really building out.
Right.
Besides just Jon Stewart, you have Hal Jordan and their buddy cop thing, and then we got Alan Scott and all that. And it's like, damn, now it's just now because and again, this is because the higher ups at DC are basically cutting costs
Mm.
on a lot of these things because hate to say it to folks, the Snyder Cut is the reason why they're in this position. Unfortunately, they spent a lot of money on that to get those HBO Max viewerships up, and then it didn't net result in what they wanted.
It was worth it though. What a film! What a picture!
I mean, no, but I'm saying it was just they did that, and it's like they thought they were going to rake in the money, and then that's on top of them doing that deal for the day and date release for those movies on top of that, and that
they were national heroes for that. I would never have seen Wonder Woman 84 8 times. If it weren't for that,
I mean, would I had to pay money for it? Nah, but nah, I think they should have definitely pulled a Disney and made people pay for it, and if they wanted to recoup their money,
that makes sense. That totally makes sense.
But that's the thing, and it's like now they're giving us this Green Lantern TV show, and I don't know if the budget's going to match the ambition that Berlanti wanted. Because the last thing you need is to, unfortunately, and look, I love Stargirl. I think they're doing pretty good for a CW budget show, obviously. But like, I would hate for the Green Lantern show to give off CW budget vibes.
Yeah, and like,
can I be the bad guy here?
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That Green Lantern show's not coming out.
It's definitely.
You
not.
don't think so?
No, absolutely not.
Wow.
I feel like if it's coming out, Berlanti is not going to be with the production.
He likes money. He'll stick with it.
He likes money, but even with like the worst CW stuff that he's been a part of, which is a long list, you kind of get the sense that he gave a shit.
Yeah, he did. He had ambition, even if you may not have liked Naomi. I didn't like it, but like you said, ambition at least. It's like, fuck it.
He seemed to care a bit, like, oh, this would be a fun show. And I don't know how you would stick around, at least for a long term.
Yeah.
When you have like this idea, and it's again a pretty good idea, like we're doing a generational Green Lantern show, we're going to show different eras of the Green Lantern Corps. Mm-hmm. That's a really cool idea. And like this, of course, this was back during the old regime when they were like, we're going to focus on kind of building like movies and TV as like this big thing, which kind of what Disney's doing right now with the Disney Plus shows. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, they're making like bigger kind of stories. The shows kind of suck, but they're making bigger stories on the small screen. And this kind of felt like they were trying to do that too. But now it's like, oh, no, we're slashing the budget by like 70%. And so you can only give you about one. And who knows how much that budget's going to stretch or even just one.
I think even initially when we first heard about this news, like before the change, that seemed too ambitious for that. It seemed like it's too much. An anthology series, just the idea of the Green Lanterns just like being live action, bro, I already just see that bleeding money. Now you're talking about an anthology, you're gonna cover all different Green Lanterns, different eras. For me, it was too much for me. That's why I low-key was waiting for this news that they were gonna cut the budget or just axe it, because I knew it was like, this is too ambitious.
Yeah, like
no way.
Like I'm surprised they didn't axe it immediately. Like I'm surprised they're like giving Berlanti the chance, like trying to salvage the concept. Like you go ahead, sorry.
No, and I was gonna say too, the reason why I think this iteration is not gonna work, because now it's you chopped it up by the knees. So for me, realistically speaking, the only thing that's popping in my mind right now is CW Titans tier type shit. That's what I'm looking at right now, because it's for me, there's no middle ground. There's no middle ground for me.
To be fair, the budget isn't what's the issue with Titans. All right, the budget's not the issue.
That's the right.
No, I know, but I'm throwing that out there. Just like a lot of money out there. Yeah, I'm just throwing that as an example. I'm just saying there was never any middle ground for me when it comes to Green Lantern. There was never any, because it's too ambitious. Because whatever money that they were gonna put into this, I think they would have gone over budget, and maybe they would have not even been able to recoup. Or now you're cutting it at the knees, or just like, okay, now you even got less of a playground to play. there was no way this could have worked for me. Like at this point, cut your losses. People are asking for a Green Lantern book. Put a good write on the Green Lantern book. Put that shit out. People will be fine.
Yeah.
Green Lantern TV show. I'm sorry, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I can definitely see it not happening now as well. Yeah, this thing the whole rumors about how Zaslav is doing another round of cuts, like to another like 200 million of like properties. So many things are that we kind of thought were safe are obviously still not.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that a lot of the TV shows, a lot of the ancillary projects were old regime. Like we're going to do smaller projects, we're going to do smaller budget projects, we're going to do stuff on the TV side of things. That was all like that was all AT&T, you know. So like these guys don't give a shit about any of that. In fact, they don't like any of that, you know. So those are things that'd be first to go. And like not to spread any rumors, but like there was like this this new interview with Journey Smollett that came out today. And
that's still a thing.
Someone asked her about Black Canary, and like of course during the first round of
Is
cuts,
that movie even happening?
No, after the first round of cuts, the director was like, "Yeah, no, it's still happening, right?" And
Okay.
I think Journey was even saying it's still happening, right?
Okay.
But during this new interview that came out today, right? Journey, someone asked her like, "Is Black Canary still happening?" She's like, "No, I can't answer that." So that's probably not a good sign. To go from it's still happening to I can't say if it's happening.
Remember when we all got together? The last time we all were together in the stream. Remember last time we all together on the stream?
Yeah.
I said this. Black Canary is in the same position as Batgirl. And it will all come down to this because once again, it's already in Zaslav's eyes destined to fail. So she's being hush-hush about that movie right now, but give it maybe a couple months. That movie's getting an axe too, bro. And if Batgirl's getting the axe, there's no way
Unless
Black
they
Canary's
can,
not getting.
You know,
I mean, unless they can convince Black Canary is going to be within a budget that's going to make Zaslav be like, all right, we'll do it because it fits within that budget wheelhouse that he's looking for these movies to do it on. I'm not gonna say cheap, but he's looking for something under 100 million from what I heard.
No, I don't want to make light of Batgirl. I was always a pusher for booster for Batgirl, right? But you know, all those stories and reports like how Batgirl is testing the same as Black Adam made me think like after seeing Black Adam, like maybe it's a good thing we didn't see Batgirl, man. Maybe it's a good thing you got canceled.
You think so?
Yeah, maybe.
You think so?
Are
you saying it in a way of like
it's the same quality?
I don't. That's the thing. It's like I don't. Here's the thing. I don't think it was the same. I don't think it was going to be to the same quality of Black Adam. I feel Black Adam had some. It was very 50-50 with that movie. It had some great moments, and then it had like in terms of visuals, like some great visuals, and then there's moments where it's like, yeah, what's that? You know. So I think Batgirl, I think probably the only thing they probably had was like, Firefly, maybe his special effects, but it looked like it was the rumor was it had a very CW vibe. And I was like, I don't want to assume that that's a bad thing because CW shows can still be pretty good, but it's like.
To be fair, Werewolf by Night had a CW vibe. Everyone loves that.
True. So but people hear that and they just start groaning, and I'm like, no, that's not a bad thing. But people tend to get all very movie purist about it. It's like it has to look like a movie, and I'm like,
yeah, that's true. I think the one thing that really hurt Batgirl in terms of discourse is that people kept thinking it was meant to be a theatrical release, and that was never confirmed. Everyone assumed because Blue Beetle got a theatrical release, but up until the end, Batgirl was only meant to be direct to video.
Yeah.
Wasn't it supposed to go to HBO Max?
Yeah, direct to HBO. Both it and Blue Beetle were direct to HBO Max, but only Blue Beetle got the bump up, got the extra budget.
That's why I would have, if I was WB, I know the guy wanted to save money. I'd been like, dude, take some, viewer goodwill and just throw Batgirl on fucking HBO Max and eat the loss. It's like, fuck it. Like,
you're gonna lose money anyway. But that's the thing, right? I feel like I agree with both of you about like how unless with Zaslav in charge, everything's like up in the air anyway. Because he's that guy. It doesn't really care about anything. quality wise.
Yeah.
So like the quality of DCEU doesn't matter if he's still in charge. The higher ups are still like that, still have that mindset.
Yeah.
But like everyone's always focusing on James Gunn, but Peter Safran, he's kind of got my attention. Like, you know, of course he did Conjuring universe. I think all the Conjuring movies suck ass. But he said they're big crowd pleasers.
They're cohesive.
They're cohesive. But like on the DCU side, like he's been a part of making Aquaman happen. He's been a part of making Shazam happen, Wonder Woman happen. He's behind Blue Beetle as well. And I feel like, you know, that gets me a little excited. Like he understands, like those are all like movies that are movies about themselves, you know, like those are like I think most of that comes from like, you know, making sure that these are budget, like, oh, we can't have like Justice League cameo, we can't have all these gigantic effects, you know, we gotta keep it so small, we gotta keep it character focused, which I like. I think that's a good kind of like sensibility, and it kind of gives me hope that he was kind of pretty hands on, especially with Shazam. Like he brought in, you know, David F. Sandberg because they worked together on some of the Conjuring films, and the Ouija films, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. Like, you know, maybe now that he's like a head honcho, he'll tell The Rock to, you know, make Black Adam 2 good.
I mean, the only thing you can only hope, but like I said, Roliver brought it up. It's like, it's cool, but it's the higher ups.
Exactly.
That's the X factor in it all, because it's like, we can be hyped for this, but like, are they going to allow them to be able to bring the DCEU into
another level
prominence like it needs to be?
Yeah.
You know, because like I said, as it stands, I always theorized that I think the reason why people are getting tired of MCU is that they just want the DC movies to actually be consistently good. So there's a bit of a like, hey, we have, you know, counter programming. You don't have to watch the MCU, but we got DC movies over here. And because DC's been kind of like, it's, you know, and you can only show so much Superman and Lois, despite how good that show is, before people are like, all right, when are we going to get Superman? When are we going to get this? When are we going to get that? You know?
Yeah.
And that's, you know, and it's unfortunate too, because it's like DC had it, and it's just, I think I always felt like, as much as I may not be huge on what Zack Snyder was doing, I feel Snyder needed somebody there to tell him no at times.
Yeah,
it probably would have worked out the way it should have worked out. And because they just let him do whatever without having somebody there to be like, no, we're not doing this, chaos ensued.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, again, I hate to keep being, you know, like negative Nancy, but you know, this is the same spot that tossed us Justice League Dark movies, the Zatanna movie. There's a bunch of other movies that they done tossed up out there. So again, when I hear or see all of these new developments, you know, it's still Black Superman in there as well. That was supposed to be a thing as well. So when I see all of these things being pitched out, and then I see everything that's happening upstairs, and then there's all this uncertainty about these other projects that you have not said a damn thing about since you announced them. So again, it's very hard for me to sit here and be excited for what James Gunn and Homeboy might be doing.
Yeah.
Because like,
true.
Yeah, it's so much like disarray. Like Marvel, again, say what you want about the MCU, but they're gonna have their little presentation and they're gonna tell you, hey, this is what we doing. And they got shit upstairs. Will we see a couple of delays? Yes. But will we see these projects come to fruition? Do they have majority of everything upstairs handled so we can get said projects out? Yes. Are these projects hit or miss nowadays? Yes. But is there cohesion? Yes. Is there a solid plan? Yes. Do they have their house in order? Yes.
And like even more so than a solid plan, they have, even in the worst movies, they have a sense of trying to get the audience on their side for the characters.
Look,
Like
Eternals was a huge risk, and as much as I enjoyed the movie, I understood people's issues with the movie. But I always said, yo, I'd rather they at least shoot for the stars and see
Oh,
what
my-
happens
oh, man.
versus them saying, no, we're not going to do Eternals. We're going to do something else. And it's like, you could have just did it and just see what happens.
The Eternals movie is probably the best Eternals thing that has ever existed.
It streamlined Eternals in a way that at least people can understand them.
Oh,
right?
This is better than what Jack Kirby was writing, man. And like, I love Jack Kirby, but Eternals was a goddamn mess.
It was just leftover stories from New Gods, basically.
Exactly. The last 20 minutes sucks, but the rest of that is like so good. The ending is so good. I don't know why people want a sequel. Leave it like that. I sent such a powerful message. God is like, I'll be back to judge you.
They're gonna pivot because that's something that I would at least give Marvel credit for. They pivot. I will say this: Marvel Studios has a good PR. Disney has a good PR crew because that Blade story could have easily went south.
Yo.
And as soon as it came out that Mahershala was still on the movie, they was like, no, he's on the movie. In fact, we gave him control in terms of crafting the story. So now people are like, okay, we're good. We're fine. We're good. Versus if they didn't have a PR crew, it would have been in shambles. Like, oh man, Blade's gonna be shit. What's happening? We don't know.
I mean, Blade's gonna be shit.
Folk would have been running with mad narratives already.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's and I think that's what WB needs. They need also some good PR because it's like you're leaving everybody up in the air on what's after the Batgirl debacle. There was no peace of mind that something was gonna is this actress gonna land fine in the future DC movies? We don't know.
It's true.
And like I said, Cavill doing that video message, that's cool, but like, can I get some substantial fact that we're getting an actual like Superman movie? I need that.
And personally, I'm. It's just not so optimistic that one of the next movies coming out is just another continuity blob.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Like again, who cares about whatever you give a shit about? Ezra Miller. That movie is just going to be another stopgap. It's still going to be another way to fill out time, pad out this universe, but if nothing substantial.
Yeah.
And like even though, like you said, a lot of things hit and miss. I think all the Disney Plus shows kind of suck in their own ways. At least with Loki, which is a pretty bad show, it still got me to care a little bit about Kang.
And they can actually make some changes on what worked and what didn't work at the very least. Like, all right, we tried and we did this. And I think that's Marvel's benefit is that if, like I said, Eternals did what it did, they can kind of like sit back and be like, all right, what we're doing. Because look at War Machine. War Machine was about to get a whole TV show until somebody was like, hold up. Do we really need to do a TV show? How about we just give them a movie? And I think that was probably a smart idea because they probably did kind of sit back and be like,
Everyone's talking about how these shows are overstuffed. Can we streamline? And Armor Wars is probably be a better TV show than it was a movie, no doubt.
I mean, Werewolf by Night I think it set the tone of what they could possibly do going forward. Give people a 50-minute mini movie.
That's true.
For what you want to do, and in that way you don't have to worry about doing a TV show for a character.
Because I think Marvel has shown, at least with the batch of shows that I watch, they can't do TV. We all know what it is.
They can do it. It just depends on the character.
Yes,
it depends on the character.
The only ones that
is
bad.
I was gonna say a lot of it is just they just taking the movie and they're just chopping it up into 30, 45-minute bits.
Like I would say it is like I felt WandaVision could have worked better as a movie than a TV show.
Yeah.
I thought Falcon Winter Soldier was very much structured like a show. It needed at least one more episode and it'll probably have been fine. Hawkeye definitely was a solid TV show. Loki, I'm 50-50 on.
No, yeah, I feel like Loki
it could have been a movie. It could definitely been like a 2.5 hour movie and it would have got to its logical endpoint. Moon Knight should have been a movie. As much as I love that show,
Moon Knight should have been nothing. Moon Knight should have been canceled.
No. Keep it as a movie. I didn't need a TV show, but that's whatever.
It needed to be erased from existence.
Miss Marvel, it was definitely structured like a TV show. It was definitely structured like
okay, Miss Marvel and She-Hulk are probably their most competent shows. Like I'm not gonna say they're my favorites, but they're like the most that actually work as TV shows. Like I know what you're saying about Falcon Winter Soldier. I don't agree because I think it tries too much per episode to work as a TV show. Like it tries too much and it delivers too little.
But they also for Miss Marvel and She-Hulk, they did get writers that did legit write TV shows, so that's probably what helped those shows out way more, especially She-Hulk.
Yeah,
especially She-Hulk,
which is a sitcom. Like every episode is like a simple plot, jokes. It's a sitcom, and I think I don't know if people got so mad. People say that Marvel fatigue isn't a thing, but Marvel fatigue is a thing that people are going like, is this the end of Marvel?
Because they watch everything and you don't have to watch everything. Like all three of us read comics. Do we read every single comic that comes out? Nope.
I haven't read a DC comic in like 30 years. All right.
I'm saying though, you're not in, like, all three of us aren't intaking every single comic that comes out every week. And that's how Marvel is structuring their shows. It's like, you don't have to watch She-Hulk if you don't want to. Like,
exactly.
That's the thing, though. That I'll give the MCU that. It's like it took a while for us to realize, hey, we don't need to read everything. But I think the MCU is structured in a way, especially with the fandom, where they feel like if they don't watch it, they have to miss out.
That's the phase one, and you know what that is. You know what that's the phase 1 through 3 kind of thing that everybody was conditioned. I think it was a review. There was podcast I listened to where this woman was saying the same thing. It was like phase 1 through 3 conditioned folks so much to intake everything that when we got to phase 4, it was like, well, hold on, I don't have to watch WandaVision. Because Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness did a pretty good job of kind of telling you the cliff notes of what happened in WandaVision. Like, oh, okay, cool.
It made more sense in WandaVision, and WandaVision made sense.
Yeah, it's like, all right, cool, got you. That's why she's evil and okay, Darkhold, got you, cool, got you. Didn't have to watch WandaVision. If I don't want to, I could probably watch cliff notes up and on YouTube or something like that. You know, it's fine, cool. You know, and that's the nature of comic books. It's like, yo, I don't have to read every Spider-Man if I don't want to. Same with DC. I don't have to read everything they put out. I'll catch it eventually later on down the road in like a trade paperback if I feel like it, but I don't have to read it. And that's why I was like, Marvel fatigue. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is a thing, and I think it's just like you don't have to watch everything.
You don't have to. And I wish one day, you know, we can. I think the DCEU is trying to do that, but it's like they're trying to, but it's like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, but in a way it works. At the same time, it doesn't work, because in the beginning, the idea was, oh, these are all structured together, but then they branched out, but they're also trying to tie everything back in. So it's a very mixed messaging.
It's eventually people are going to, like I said, when we were talking about Black Adam, the fact that there was somebody that actually asked the question of where's the Justice League, and I was like, yeah, this was bound to happen when you started making these movies stand alone. And I even said, and like I said, a lot of people push back on what I said. I'm like, no, I'm right, because eventually, again, people are going to start asking, okay, are we getting another Justice League movie? Like, when is that going to happen? When is this going to happen? You know, and it's just like, yeah, people want that. They want that connectivity, whether they realize it or not. Like,
and again, too, it's just like, compare that to MCU. Now you sound silly asking, hey, when is the Avengers gonna pop up, bro? The Avengers disbanded. You know that. We've seen that. Yes, we know we're gonna see them together again. You know, with Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty, but right now, while we're setting the groundwork, you sound silly asking for where's the Avengers, because we know what happened to them. But again, with DC, it's they done botched the ball so much that now just like you're forced to ask these questions, whereas before you're just like, oh, we know.
But like even then, if we cared about Black Adam, if we care about these characters, we wouldn't care. Like you don't, like you can in Thor, you can say, "Where is Iron Man? Where is like all that kind of?" People have been saying this for a while, you know. But if we were on the same journey with Black Adam, it wouldn't matter. That would be that would be some people would ask that, but then some people would. But then if it was a movie worth watching, people would then say like, "Oh, that doesn't matter because it's Black Adam's story." But this isn't Black Adam's story.
So supposedly Hawkman is getting a solo movie, and I'm like, huh.
Who cares?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, it sounds nice in theory because I like what's his face as Hawkman, but it's like, all right, cool, I guess, but like, what is it going to be about? Like, you
really flatlined this character.
It's like, which Hawkman are we? And that's the thing too. The movie is like, so is this like Egyptian Hawkman or is this Thanagarian cop Hawkman.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, in the like the prequel comics single issues, right?
There's a prequel comic of this?
Yeah, Black
Yeah.
Adam, the JSA files.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's a billionaire playboy. They basically Batman. He's just Batman. He's Batman.
Somebody said he had T'Challa vibes in the movie. I was like, bro,
What vibe? What
the suit,
vibes?
the suit to him transforming when he jumped out the jet, and and all that.
But okay, but I will say one thing. I will say one thing with that comic though. He fights Gentleman Ghost in it.
Gentleman Ghost?
Yeah, he fights Gentleman Ghost in the comic, and that's fun. It's fun. So a thief that gets blown up by a piece of like Eternium and becomes like a magical ghost. It's fun.
Eternium, which that's something else the movie really dropped the ball on, because you had something with like, oh, Eternium harms him. All right, are we going to get more of that? No, nothing. Nothing.
That's the thing. Like, you didn't need to have all these JSA fights when clearly Intergang is a threat, but like they're so sidelined.
It literally could have been his version of Superman versus the against Intergang. And you would have, and you know what? Okay, you know what? You're right, because if you take JSA out, that whole bad guy turn at the end probably would have worked out better. So you know what? You're right. Just now thinking about that, yeah, that could have definitely worked.
But this movie wanted to have its kicking it too.
Yeah. Hey, look. I am going to try my best to be optimistic about the future of DCEU, but I'm just like, we'll see. Look, they're gonna have to. Look. People can be happy for Henry Cavill, but I'm like, guys, don't get your hopes up until that movie actually officially hits theaters and you're sitting down in the theater watching it, because at any point in time, you're going to get that news of WB is sold to blah, blah, blah company. And I'm like, so what does that mean for Superman? Is that happening or not? Like,
let me tell you what I'm not holding my hope. Let me tell you, because of the situation that's happening at DC right now, let me tell you what I'm not holding out for. I'm not holding out for Cavill to get another movie right now. You know what I'm also on the fence about? What another movie that a lot of people seem to forget about? Static.
Oh my God.
Dude, they have been sitting on that for years.
Yeah.
Static is canceled. Static is fucking canceled.
And it's not enough that they don't give a I hate to say it, WB doesn't give a fuck about Static enough to really put some weight behind it, because that shit should have been happened. Like, we're already on what? Season 2 of the Static comic is about to start back up. Season 1's already in the can. And it's like, I was assuming that we were going to get this new era of DC stuff from Milestone. Things were going to jump off, and Static is sitting there just waiting for something to happen. Yep. And I'm like, bruh, like, don't let Young Avengers happen before Static. Then I'm going to be really like, what?
I'm not holding out for. You got, what is that said? Superman, Static. Oh, best believe that Black Canary movie is not happening. It's not happening.
Dude, if we get Midnight Suns before Justice League Dark, I'm gonna be so pissed off. I'm gonna be fighting there.
How would they get Midnight Suns if without Morbius? It would be he's one of the founding members. So
no, you don't. They can do their own thing.
Who's the Midnight in that? Who's the Midnight?
Well, I mean, you saw 3 of them in Werewolf by Night.
Oh please, that guy looked like a shaved ET.
You saw 3 of them in there. You got fucking Moon Knight.
Also, Werewolf by Night sucked.
Werewolf by Night, it was dope.
It was terrible.
It was dope. But seriously, it's like all the stuff that I didn't think was gonna happen. It's like, damn, they're doing all this before DC does it. Like, and that's why I said I went back to the fact that it's like, dude, the fact that the CW beat the movie side to the punch on a lot of stuff. I'm like, damn, like, what the fuck?
It's crazy, right?
But like, there's one thing. They need to get the Flash reboot on track immediately, because they can still beat the shows to the punch with the Rogues, because the Rogues never show up in the show. The Rogues never show up in the show, and you can't say they did. It's a lie.
All I'm saying is, you really believe you're going to see the Rogues in movie form other than Captain Boomerang? Because that's the only person that actually looked pretty good in the movies is Captain Boomerang.
Listen, I was stand by that. I love the CW Captain Cold. I love CW Captain Cold.
Can the movies actually give you a Captain Cold that matches old boy from the CW show?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But CW Captain Cold only got good once he left the Flash.
He was good on the Flash, but when he was on Legends, I will admit, when he got on Legends, it was pretty good. Him and Heatwave, they were pretty good. But like I said, on the movie side, I'm like, like, when are we going to get another Flash solo past that? Because we already know the Flash fucking movie is Flashpoint, and it's going to be him and Supergirl, and it's like, all right, cool. So who are we going to actually get a Flash movie with the Rogues? Is that going to happen? Like, what's the timetable on that? Because they half-assed, dude. Shazam is just now coming out, and I'm like, that movie should have been came out like a couple of years ago. Like,
so like, well, to be fair, one thing I like is that with Shazam movies, they're like doing the time.
The kids are getting older.
Exactly, but that's part of like the story. Like a part of the story is that like he's going off to college, or he's thinking about going off to college, and he's worried that they're all gonna lose touch because they're not like, they're all still foster siblings, they're not like, you know, adoptive siblings, you know, everything like that. So that's part of the story is like him being secure about like, oh shit, are we gonna lose touch? Is the last time I'm gonna see these guys? You know, Mary's off in college. I might go to college soon. Fred's going off to college. You know, what's gonna happen? And so I like that. I like that they're growing these kids up. It's not one of those things where like, oh no, where they're awkwardly trying to keep up with their ages. They're making it part of the story, which is why Shazam 3 needs to be Monster Society Evil. Let's do it. Okay. He's big whirling threat. He's like going to be like 25, 23 when that comes out. You know, you know I'm right.
Hey, look,
a big adult threat. All right.
Hey, look. I'm just saddened that in all this news, I'm praying to God we need a continuation of Young Justice, because you can't leave us hanging like that with Mary Marvel joining with Darkseid. Can't do that.
Well, listen.
People could tell season 1 they weren't going to pay off anything. This is all your own fault for getting invested.
Hey, they paid off a lot of stuff. It's just you ended up with another cliffhanger, and I'm like, come on, like, don't do this.
If Young Justice gets renewed again,
one last season, it has to be one last season.
But the thing is, what's his name? Greg Weisman, like back when they brought it back, was like, you know what, we don't have plans to stop. We have plans for like season 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, so like he wasn't lying. He was telling people like, no, we have plans to like keep going forever. You know,
he's playing it up like a comic book, to his credit. So I'll at least give him that.
So like, I don't know, people felt like he was never going to stop her. They were going to get a good conclusion. They weren't paying attention to Wiseman.
Listen, I'm gonna say this, bro. If we have to do a petition every single time your show ends to get a new season, I don't know, brother. I don't know.
I mean, look, I'll say this too. On the animated movie side, I'm number one. I'm liking the new animation for what they're doing for their little shared animated movie universe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of curious what's going to be the end game for the movie universe side. Like, I'm really curious on what's going to be. Cause I think the next movie for that is crap. Because the Green Lantern movie just ended. There's another one that's coming out.
Super Sons already just came out.
Yeah, but that's separate from that. But Super Sons is actually not bad. God, what was the new one? I want to say
wasn't there Justice League War World?
That might be it. That might be what it is.
Yeah, I think Justice League War World.
Yeah, hold on. Because I think that's what it is. Justice League. Yeah, no, that's not it.
Hold on, I got it pulled up right here. We have this does not help me at all. Batman, the Doom That Came to Gotham, Legion of Superheroes.
Legion of Superheroes. That's the next one. Yeah. That's the next one. Legion of Superheroes, which I'm like, all right, cool. You know, so and like I said, they did say Gunn and Peter are kind of in charge of that too at the same time. So I'm like,
they are. Oh, okay, all right.
They said the animated TV and movie things. They're pretty much kind of overseeing all that, and I'm like, oh, interesting. So
okay. Well, yeah. So that's. Yeah, like I said, I don't mean to be negative, Nancy, but yeah, man, a lot of this shit.
Yeah, and that's the most sensible approach to take it. Like, it's nice that they're there, but not in the woods.
Yeah, like I said, it's just, I think all of us are just like, yo, can we just get consistency, and then we can celebrate? Because like I said, put it this way, if the Superman movie actually happens, and I'm sitting in theaters watching it, I'd be like, all right, congratulations, DC, you did it, you finally did it, you know. Otherwise, I'm like, I don't know.
Personally, I'm not gonna be happy until I'm in theaters watching a tiny little worm with a radio around its neck fighting Zachary Levi. All right, with an army.
We need
of
that. We
crocodiles.
definitely do need that.
Okay, because like I don't know in what universe The Rock was like, yeah, let's not tease anything with Mr.
Mr.
Mind.
Mind. Bruh, that shocked me with Shazam. I'm like, we're doing Mr. Mind?
And like,
Oh my God.
And I feel like Fury of the Gods was filler to give room for Black Adam, but then Black Adam didn't do anything to help it. Like, oh, we gotta wait for Black Adam to catch up, but Black Adam fucking ignored it. So now we're having like this weird middle movie that doesn't really have anything to do with like the setup for that story. But like, I hope Shazam 3, people are like, oh man, I can't wait. Hopefully The Rock adds in Black Adam and Superman to Shazam 3. No, fuck it. Keep it simple. Mr. Mind. All right, let's play this off, finish the trilogy. Nice. Let's not do Captain America Civil War syndrome. All right, just finish the story.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. And if you want to do something else after that,
yes, of course,
then sure. Yeah, and I think Civil War was just a
terrible idea.
No, I mean, I think
terrible.
I would say it was a better executed idea than I thought it was going to be. It's just
wow!
Look, it was better than the comics in terms of execution.
Please, at least in the comics, it wasn't like Captain America, issues 70 through 1 billion. All right, it was just an event comic on its own.
I think I know we're not going to turn this into an MCU talk, but I think in regards to how everything lined up, like behind the scenes, they got their hands on Spider-Man and all that stuff. I think the way everything just lined up was just like, hey, bro, I know what we're supposed to do. Because it was named something else before.
Yeah,
it was the fake one was the Serpent Society,
which would have been better. We all know
technically, but the original thing was before Spider-Man got lumped in, it was just going to be Black Panther kind of being in the middle between Cap and Iron Man, basically, and then they put in Spider-Man in the mix to be part of the whole thing, basically.
Yeah. So, I think the way everything just kind of lined up, that's one of the reasons why it played out the way it did. But yeah, I don't want the same thing for Shazam. I see where Elvis is coming from. Like, I don't want them to repeat that because I think we've seen now when DC tries to repeat what the MCU did, it doesn't work out so well. So, I don't want to see an overstuffed Shazam movie with Black Adam and Superman. If you want to do that separately after everybody has
do that in Black Adam
fleshed out this, yeah, but nah, right now, let Shazam cook. It seems like Shazam is the only one that's actually giving a shit about the lore. So yeah,
the sequel seems like a real sequel.
You know what it feels like? Somebody at DC just told the director, "Yeah, do whatever you want." Like they're just ignoring it. It's kind of like with Power Rangers, how Disney ignored them doing Power Rangers RPM until Disney got the budget. I was like, hold up, they're spending how much on RPM? Whoa,
yep.
whoa. Rein that shit back in, nigga. No, hell no. That's exactly like people forget that shit. I was laughing because somebody was like, whoa. How much we spend on RPM? Nah. Bring that budget back. I think that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna look at Shazam like, hold up, how much money? How much money did we spend on Shazam? Oh no. We can't do that. We can't do that. No, don't Absolutely do that.
Not. And you got Zaza over there penny pinching like a motherfucker. Yeah, hell no.
Yeah, no. Shazam, I like the first Shazam, but Shazam 2 looks like 5 times the budget,
Oh, it definitely does. That's why I'm like, I hope the third movie at least keeps the same budget and not go down.
Shazam 2 has got to be a mega hit, and I hopefully, yes, it needs to be. And
look, everybody loved it at San Diego. They were fucking like, oh my god, like that got more hype than the Black Adam thing. Dead serious.
Black Adam had nothing to show. He had nothing to show. Well, you see the trailers, what you get.
Yeah. I mean,
notice how The Rock was like very I said The Rock is very gimmicky with it because didn't he come out with like the little wristband things?
Yes, like I was in line because I had to go to the AEW thing, so I missed the Black Adam section of it. But what happened was I had got my seat and I had them save my seat. Went back there, and what happened was somebody was telling me when I came back into Hall H after the AEW thing. I saw them with wristbands, and it was basically kind of like the Harry Potter ones from the second movie when we were at San Diego, where basically it lights up when he did the thing with the wand, and it was the same thing with Black Adam, where apparently he's doing his whole Shazam thing with Black Adam, and the wristbands light up and all that. So
And then I think also to everybody who was in Hall H, they got a free movie pass to see it.
I don't know if they got a free movie pass as far as I know.
They got a voucher.
I think
voucher.
it also is a voucher. I didn't know they got a voucher. I just assumed it was just the wristband and that's
They
it.
could redeem. They could redeem it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
But did they? You know, who knows?
I mean, if they kept it,
that's the question.
I mean, I was assuming they just got the wristbands because at least with like the Marvel's Hall H stuff, they gave us like these multiverse hats that I still got, but that's about it. But
That one, those look pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, vouchers. Who really is keeping the voucher though for that long? Like, oh shit, I could use this for Black Adam 2 months later. Like,
they probably used on something else, or was it? I wonder if it was just for Black Adam, or if it was just like a movie voucher.
It was probably for Black Adam. I think I heard it was for Black Adam specifically. But at the end of the day, like maybe that's why he made so much money. Who knows?
I just want DC fandom to happen if it does happen to see what happens. So.
Well, didn't DC fandom get canceled?
It did, but maybe next year.
Maybe next year. You know,
hopefully
it's also unfortunate. Matt Reeves, meanwhile, it feels like he's so alone in his corner that WB is just like, yeah, go on ahead and keep doing what you're doing, Matt Reeves. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Let Matt Reeves do his thing, but it's just like, I'm hoping that his second movie brings Batman to a fantastical element with his villains. I want Mr. Freeze. I want Clayface.
Yes.
Just give us that.
This one felt like a half measure. This one felt like Gotham light. Like Gotham, the TV show, felt like what Matt Reeves was trying to be, but wasn't letting itself be.
It's like you got to give us Clayface, like because at this point we've had so many grounded Batman movies that it would really be nice to just say, you know what. Boom, Clayface. Just kick it up a notch. That's I mean, give us a Bat Family. Jesus.
Yeah, you know what, man? Listen, the fact that they just let a Matt Reeves cook and we're not hearing shit about that's okay, bro.
I'm fine. I'm fine with it. Hey,
I'm good, bro. Let that man cook. Give him the keys to the kingdom. Whatever he wants to do, cool. The fact that it's silent over there, good.
It was just like, hey, let him talk. We made a lot of money. Just let him do it.
Let him do it. That's okay.
But yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on.
No problem.
I'm glad we were able to finally square this away because this weekend definitely would have been hell. Because I have we had gotten an email about a special event that's happening at the African American History Museum on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Now they didn't tell us what it is. I don't want to presume what it could be.
Oh my God, you think so?
Oh shit.
I don't want to. That's the thing. I don't want to presume it because if I do presume that, and all of a sudden I get there and it's like, oh, it's not. God damn it! Like you got me hyped. So that's why I'm shutting my mouth. They're supposed to give us information on Friday, so we'll see.
Oh shit! Bro.
We'll see. If it's what I think it is, I'm like, oh, okay, thanks, appreciate it.
I mean, it lines up though.
It lines up, but it's like I don't know. Look. Hey, these companies will blurbs. Yeah, that's why I was like. I'm not saying shit because maybe this is a test to see if I say something. I'm like, nope, not saying shit. Not saying shit.
That you can see, like they're starting to put out like TV spots and everything. They're gonna wait. They're gonna need blurbs. They're gonna need a blurb TV spot soon.
I mean, the premieres tonight. Man. The premieres tonight. And apparently, somebody was like, "Stay the fuck off the internet," because they're gonna be some people that are gonna spoil the shit out of it. And I'm like,
shit, that's right.
Yeah, especially Reddit, because motherfuckers will confirm some leaks on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know what? To Marvel's credit, I'll say this: I love the fact that 9 times out of 10, the leaks end up being bullshit once the movie comes out proper, and I'm happy for that because I'm like, because the Infinity War thing had me on pins and needles, like, oh shit, please don't tell me this is true. And then I watched, I was like, oh thank God, oh God, woo. So I'm like, man, I need to know who keep making up these damn false rumors. That's the ones that be getting me. I'm like, man.
At this point, it's a whole fucking business, man. People building up whole fucking YouTube channels on that bullshit. It's a business, bro. It's a whole scene.
God, I wish I could sell out. I know one day I hope to sell out like they do.
You know what? Don't say that.
Yo, Elvis, we should sell out, man.
We should
sell out.
Well, me and Prime are gonna look at both of y'all like they sold out. God damn, they sold out. Why did they sell out, man? Elvis at least, man. Like Elvis sold out. Like damn, I thought he had some dignity.
Black Adam, 10 out of 10. Oh, they brought him back. He's back. Yes, for the fans.
All it takes is The Rock to retweet Elvis, and he was like, "Well, I guess we're selling out now, Roliver."
Yo, you know how easy it is. Elvis, all you got to do is just like take a picture of you having the shocked face, throw that on a thumbnail, bro. You got it.
I got.
We
Hey,
got
you know
it.
what? Hey, throw it on the front of this episode just to get people in there like shock and awe.
Elvis, you have to do it, man.
You know what? If I take a good selfie, I'll edit the thumbnail.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Please.
Boom.
I am. You know what? The only reason why I would never sell it, us at 3BG, we're not selling out, is that number one, we would suck at doing those faces because it's like that's not us. It's like I'm not going to do a face on the video.
That dude, Soups, right? Who does all those videos? Like when he like the cable news broke and he's like, he's back. Yeah. Like I don't have the energy for that. I like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Let's move on. Like that'd be me.
Like,
see.
Man,
the problem for me is like my tolerance for movies and TV shows is so low. That's why I don't cover it. Like if I really gave a shit, I ain't gonna lie, I would sell out. I would think about selling out.
I'm watching. There is so look. If people knew the amount of shows that I've been watching, and dude, have y'all noticed the fact that I haven't done not a single. Like after any comic book movie, I haven't done no recaps. I got, you know what I ended up finding out is that people took to us doing a whole year in review of those comic book stuff instead of us doing the episode after it. Because I just got tired of like trying to get people combined for it, and then it's just like fuck this. I'm just gonna do a year in review of all this shit, and it works out better because all of us can talk about it and have fun with it and joke around with it versus like, all right, we gotta bump that. Like,
no, I feel the same way. Like, unless it really speaks to me, I'm not making a review of it.
Like Black Adam, I'm like, I don't care to do that.
Like, I'll probably do a Sweet Tooth video about season 1.
Like, I saw Reacher and I love it, and I did a quick review of it and stuff. And like, even Amazon, even The Boys, like, I think I watched the new show with Chloe Moretz. That's actually a pretty good show. I love it.
I was looking forward to seeing it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a really good show. And I was like, you know what? I'll probably do a recap of the season because it's actually really damn good. Like, I was genuinely shocked of how much I was enjoying that show. Like, I watched the first 3 episodes and I was like, oh, this is actually really good. Damn. All right. So.
But anyway, before we like wrap up, Ro, I need to ask you a question. Pitch Black or Black Adam?
Is that a trick question?
Pitch Black or Black Adam?
Pitch Black.
All right, good. Because I feel like I said this on Twitter, but I need to say it right now for posterity. Black Adam convinced me that Vin Diesel did nothing wrong. He was right.
Vin Diesel, you know what? Vin Diesel has what you say, Elvis. He has ambition. Look, the fact that he made a trilogy on Riddick.
He wants to make Riddick 4 and 5.
Look, I wasn't a fan of the second movie, but I did like that third movie, and I'm like, you know what? I actually like this little side missions, this side little adventure of Riddick through these 3 movies. This is great. It like Vin Diesel, you might not like the stuff that he does, but I give him credit. He has ambition in what he does. He shoots for the stars, and then if it just fails, it's like, all right, well, I tried.
Yeah, these are movies that like he's actually honing, like he actually paid attention to the story, and the story might be like really, really lame, but that's because Vin Diesel's a giant dork, you know? Like,
was it The Last Witch Hunter and stuff? Was The Last Witch Hunter? I think
Last Witch Hunter is based on one of his D&D characters, right?
Yeah, and I was like, this feels like a passion project that somebody threw money at him for. And I was like,
exactly.
All right.
Those are all like the backstory he's made up for that movie. You know, he did it entirely.
It really does,
and it's so dorky and so nerdy. But that like the thing, right? The Rock tries too much to look cool, and Vin Diesel, he wants to look cool too, but he doesn't. But he thinks the dorkiest stuff is cool, and that's charming. That's charming.
There's a heart to it. There's like some sort of heart to it. And versus The Rock is just both of them have egos, but I think I'm going to compare Fast and Furious to this. I'm going to do a little bit of comparing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when Vin Diesel is promoting Fast and Furious, he's promoting, you know, like the elements of the story or the elements of the movie to
family.
Family
themes.
Yeah,
the themes. But whereas The Rock, it's more ego driven. Look at who we brought back. Look at what we're gonna do. Look at this. Look at that.
But I also have a cast here, but it's about The Rock.
Yeah, exactly. So I gotta give Vin Diesel a little bit more credit now. You know,
I'm
in the
worried about
beginning.
Fast 10 because I'm
Yeah,
like, you're
that's
trying to
that's
bring back Paul Walker. Don't do it, Vin. You're on a roll. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't.
you know what? The thing is, if he did it, it'd come from a good place. It wouldn't come from a cynical place.
Yeah,
It'd come from a good place. It'd be a huge mistake, be creepy, but it would come from a good place.
and they'd probably use Homeboy's brother as a body double
Yeah,
again.
yeah,
So it's coming from a good place.
yeah.
Yeah.
Aki makes a good point that the difference between Rock and Vin Diesel is passion. You know, that one has passion. The Rock only has passion for his brand. What? All right.
Maybe that's probably why he wouldn't work for the MCU because it's more like because if you look at the MCU movies and the way the actors promote the movies, there's that like ensemble element to it. Like even with Eternals, you know, everybody was hyping each other up, and when we saw it, we went to a college and stuff, and they were the chick that was the speedster that was deaf. She did like a special Q&A before the screening and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is actually different because they never really do this kind of stuff. All right, cool. But it's not ego driven. It's just everybody did something special for Eternals in some sort of way, so you never feel like one is superseding the other.
And also too, I want to add this in. The Rock, don't forget the Rock was showing up for a lot of those test screenings. So the guys from Absolute Comics brought up a good point when I was watching the episode a couple weeks ago. You're going to be very tempted because of the experience of having the Rock there
versus
to say this movie is great. You're more likely to say this movie is great because the Rock was there versus if you just watch the shit by yourself without any of that.
That's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing where they're going pushing the audience reviews. But like, if you took any statistic class, you know, like surveys are inherently self-biased, especially voluntary surveys. Ones that people go out to fill out, ones that people aren't like sort of being told to fill out. They're self-selecting. There's a bias in them. Like, even if the audience score can be negative, can be positive, but people who are making those scores, who are inputting those reviews, they are reaching out to do that. So when you get that overwhelmingly positive audience scores, because the people who really like the movie are leaving the audience scores. But the people who didn't like the movie or didn't care about it aren't aren't going to waste their time going online, looking it up, making a Rotten Tomatoes account to like leave a score and like a couple of lines of why they don't like it, you know?
Yeah, very true.
I mean, hey, it is what it is. But like I say, I appreciate you guys bringing me on.
No problem. Let's wrap up.
This is phenomenal.
Yeah. All right. So let's know where you can find you, Ro.
You can find me on Roliver Queen _ on Twitter, where I'm just talking about comic books, booze, and pretty feet. And you can find me on YouTube, Roliver Queen Reviews. I don't know. I'll be honest with you guys. Doing this little shindig, yeah, I think I have the energy, you know, to come back with another video this week. Probably might record something tonight because now I feel the energy again.
Why Pitch Black is a masterpiece?
I need to watch Pitch Black, but I said Pitch Black because I definitely wasn't gonna fucking say Black Adam.
Pitch Black is really good. The sequels are kind of bad, but whatever.
Also, you can find me on Instagram, Roliver Queen _ and you could look out for Comics Code Authority, man. When I finally get out my creative slump, we will be back. We'll be back.
No problem. How about you, CJ? Where can you find you?
You can find me on IG at _just.cj. I just did a show with Blurred's Eye View the other day where I won their Jeopardy contest. It was great. It was fun. You can follow our podcast. My podcast, I am one part of the 3BG, 3 Black Geeks, at www.3blackgeeks.com. That's our site that we upload all our episodes, you know, some of our episodes of the show. You can find us on Twitter and IG, same name, 3 Black Geeks. Not that hard to find. We got upcoming episodes of our Halloween episode is going to be about the Blumhouse Fantasy Island movie. So that should be fun to talk about because I fucking hated that goddamn movie.
I love that movie. When's that? I want to be on that. I can defend that movie.
We're just recording it offline and then we'll upload it. So, but we'll think about you for the next time around. But we're
That
doing
movie's
that.
great.
We got the sports show that's coming up this week where we're going to be talking about the insanity that is the Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers basically being horrible this season. And our next Morphin Medicast is me and Prime talking about Kaku Rangers, so that should be fun. And yeah, you can find all of our musings on Facebook and, like I said, Twitter and IG. And such.
Awesome.
Yo, we definitely got to have you guys on when we boot back up again, man. Because you and Prime, y'all turned this shit upside down, bro. And it's such a good time. So I'll be reaching out, brother. I'll be reaching out.
Right.
Don't worry.
What kind of fair episode? All right.
All right.
Oh, yes. Actually, yes. We should do that.
All right. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for Steph and AkiCat for showing up in the comments for a little bit. And yeah, thank you so much, Ro and CJ. Great having you on. I didn't want to make a review of this. If a review of it would have been 2 seconds long. It's bad. I need someone to bounce off of, and you guys are really great. Better review than I could have put out. And yeah, hope to do this again, and see you guys soon.
Peace.